Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. Have a plethora of things going to be showcasing for you guys tonight. These are going to be my personal selections, and I do hope that you enjoy. Getting things kickstarted tonight is going to be Legendary Collections for Joey's World. There's actually some pretty interesting priced commons here. You can see starting market price here for Gatling Dragon. The common version here ranges between anywhere between 10 to 15 bones. Gate Guardians going between 10 13. Sujin 4 to 9. Fiberjar 6 to 8. 6 cents here, 8 to 7 to around 7, 8. Little D here is around 8 apparently, and it just there's 6, 5, just continues to trickle on here. There's some really interesting commons that are relatively good price, so check your guys' commons. These are definitely some good sells. I'm not really sure why. Maybe these are just like hard to, I guess this is probably short print. That's probably why they're saying here that these are apparently short prints. Who knows? But these are, several dollars a piece, so maybe definitely worth a sell factor on that. All around, just an amazing set. This Legendary Collection 3 and Legendary Collection Kaiba have some amazing cards and some amazing rarities. So just go ahead and check that out. Next is going to be Wandering King Wild Wind. So this is still to the date a solo print ultra rare from Duelist Saga, and the running market price of this is roughly around 14 bones starting market price. OG Fats has a fat stack of 9 here for 14 near mint first edition, and it just continues to trickle up to 15 plus, and there's 4 pages of availability. We'll go ahead and switch over to 3 stacks to see the bulk prices. Still around 14, 15, all pretty much across the board for stacks, and there's a single page of stacks. So pretty interesting stuff on that. So that might be a good sell if you're not running a Fiend-centric Synchro deck. Preparation of Rites is going to be next. This is the original super rares from Stardust Overdrive, and the first edition copies of this are running some insane price points. Starting market price for this is going to be 30 bones for a lightly played first for a 2 stack here, and then near mint copies go all the way up to a whopping 50 bones from Cow's House here, and there's only 4 availability for near mints on the market. So there's several variants of this, but this is the original print from a very infamous Legendary Stars Overdrive set. An amazing card, really great rarity, really great artwork, and there's a bunch of ritual stuff running around every once in a while. So this is a very, very expensive card for what it is, and I think this would definitely be an amazing sell target, given that there is some pretty healthy alternatives to this. Next is going to be Gateway of the Six. So I'm a huge Six Samurai fanboy player. I've liked Six Samurais for quite some time, and it's just one of those older decks that kind of struggles to keep up with the metagame, but it's still very, very fun to play, and I love the swarming, the mechanics behind it. And Shein is one of my all-time level 5 synchros of all time. That with Materia Beast as well is pretty legendary. So this is pretty, obviously there's alternative prints of this one as well, but this being the original one, again, another super from Stardust Overdrive, very infamous set here, and very, very old. Starting market price for this is going to be about 11 bones for near mint first editions here, or lightly played first editions. 11 bones pretty much across the board, and then it goes all the way up to 20 bones for near mint. Well, actually there's a 14 here for a 1 stack, and then it goes up to 20 bones. And looks like there's only one single stack here on the first page, and there's only 1 page's availability, so this stack of 3 is really going to be the only playset here on the TCGP and on the platform here. And the start market price is almost going to be 20 bones, about 15 plus, but then you factor in the 5 bone shipping. So completely up to you guys in that. Another relatively great sell target, my personal opinion, especially seeing how I think it was the Spirit Warriors done another mirrored super rare first edition print, which has the updated holo foiling with the magic attribute, which is pretty cool. Next is going to be some Gravekeeper stuff. So Royal Tribute, pretty much all across the board, is going for some insane price points. We can see the several variants of the different colored rares from the Duelist League promos are going for like 10 plus, depending on which color you're going through. Even the commons here are going for a couple bones, and of course the ultra rares, being the highest rarity, are going for some pretty legendary price points. And 2, this is a really great card. I don't remember if this is still at 1. I can't remember. For the longest time it was at 1. I don't know if it's been lifted past 1 on the list, forbidden and banned list yet, but if we're going to go ahead and look at some price points, we're going to switch over. This is the ideal print, being the technically the only hollow foil. Well, it is the only hollow foil that we have here in Legendary Collections 3 Yugi's World, a very, very infamous high collector's caliber set here. For first edition lightly played is going to be 12 bones starting market price, and then near mint first editions, we're going to have to actually dig into the next page here to find some near mint first editions. So I'm actually just going to switch these over. I highly recommend, like always, you guys always should invest in first edition. There's little to no product that I invest in personally that isn't unlimited, that isn't first edition, but near mint first editions are going to be around 18 bones starting market price, and then it quickly dwindles up until 20 plus, and there's 3 pages of availability. So let's go back to page 1 here and see what's going on. I guess that was page 1. Anyway, great ideal version. Also, the original OG commons from Pharaonic Guardian first editions exclusively. I want to take a peek at those. Apparently that also was a short print. I don't know if this is just like on the fritz and it's saying like everything's a short print for the commons. But this is a really powerful card. I mean, one of the blowout cards, one of the reasons why Gravekeepers kind of get away with some wins here in 2021 format of Yu-Gi-Oh! And these are actually very affordable. They're like around 2 bones for lightly played first editions and some near mints here. Unfortunately, these are single stacks. They're pretty much around 2-3 bones after you factor in shipping for the OG prints. Let's take a look at bulk prices. There is only, unfortunately, 1 bulk price, and it's going to be roughly around 4 bones with a bone of shipping. So completely up to you guys in that, but just an all-around amazing card. So completely up to you guys what you guys want to do. Recruiter is going to be next, and this is seeing some insane price points. I mean, it's 7+ bones for the common, Speed Duels variant, even the rare from Star Strike Blast is seeing 9 bones plus, and then the ultra rares from Legendary Collection 3 reprints as the highest rarity hollow foils are seeing anywhere between 11 to 14 bones. But what I did wanted to check out was the rares, because these just being rares, now granted, Star Strike Blast is a very infamous set, relatively hard to get. I heard something about this was like short printed or something, and I can't remember if this one was it this one, or there's another set that only came first edition or something like that, and I don't think this was the one. Maybe it was, because these all look first edition here. I can't remember, but there's a case like kind of like Duel Saga where everything was printed first edition, like there was no special edition or something. I can't remember how that worked out. But anyway, starting market price for these rares is 9 bones for lightly played first edition or near mint here, and these are mostly 1 stacks. Looks like there is, well, there's a 3 stack here for 8 plus a bone shipping. So let's go ahead and switch over again. I believe these are all first edition, and then let's see some bulk prices. Starting market price is going to be 8 bones, and it jumps all the way up to almost 20 bones a pop for these stacks. So very, very, very incredible price points in this. And if you guys have the Speed Duel commons, those are not too far behind the rares, and I think it's just insane that that's a big theme of this video. I wanted to showcase some cards that I think would kind of be a good loot out to cash in for, because most of these are just some really relatively simplistic cards to get, and they are like low rarity of commons and stuff and rares. And even this one here for the Speed Duels common, that this is actually, I guess it is Speed Duels. I don't know why it doesn't have the Speed Duel stamp here on here, but these are 6 bones before you even factor in shipping, and they climb all the way up to like 10 plus after that. Only 2 pages of availability. So another amazing sell target. Next is gonna be Commandant. Of course, we have the original OG Ultimate Rares highest rarity here from Force Breaker, which are going for some ungodly expensive price points, especially for the first editions. And then we have the ultra rare reprints from Legendary Collections 3, which are going for good money, 9, 12 bones. But what I thought is very interesting is the common variants. There's actually 2 rares, the original rares from Force Breaker, and even the lowest rarity as a common from Structure Deck Merrick. This is still going for a couple bones a piece. So if we check out first editions, near mint lightly played, it's pretty incredible the price points that these cards are going for at these such low rarities. I mean, like 4 bones starting market price for lightly played, and it goes up to 5 plus for first edition, and then for stacks. So if you guys have these, I mean, I know it's a huge pain to go through. There's not even an option to pick 3 plus for bulk, but this is good money. So if you guys have these lying around, you should definitely sell them. Droll and Lockbird is going to be next as the original Star Strike Blast rare variant. Starting market price for first editions is going to be around 17 bones after you factor in shipping. And then it quickly goes to a Phantom under 20, and then just really kind of just reams into 20 here for the starting market price. And there is 2 pages of availability If we switch over to stacks, there is a 4-stack here, starting market price for 30 bones, which is just insane. Such an insane price point for this card. So technically speaking, that is the lowest rarity that we have. A very special rarity. It's cool because it's the OG print, and again, Star Strike Blast, there's a lot of infamous history behind this and great history merit on it. And then personally, I like the super rares, OTS Tournament Pack 1 because it's super rare. I've got, really big thing for super rare hand traps for playability purposes, and then also it is the very first OTS pack, which is some really great history merit on that. And of course, we have the ultimate rares going for anywhere between 170 plus to 200 plus, which are pretty great. But I really wouldn't be playing this. This is definitely a collector's card. Definitely great to invest in, maybe sell or flip or trade, whatever, or just hold on to just to have, because it's a nice and beautifully aesthetically looking card. But I would not be playing this 200 plus ultimate rare. We have these healthy alternatives to use. Ideally, I really believe for playability purposes, the original rares, first editions exclusively, and the super rares are going to be the ideal prints to go for. So another option there for you guys. Artifact Lancia is going to be next, exclusively the secret rare variant, the highest variant that we have here in the TCG for Battles of Legends, Heroes Revenge. This is the only one that's really worth money. There's a couple other variants, I think like ultra rares and like rares and commons or something. This is the only one really worth much of anything. Starting market price of this is going to be 8 bones plus for Near Mint first edition, and it looks like there's a couple stacks here for 8 plus for lightly played, and then Near Mint is still roughly a phantom under that 9 bone range, and there's going to be about 8 pages of availability. So this is another one to kind of push off if you're not using it. Kind of silly artwork, really great rarity. Obviously secret rare is really amazing rarity, and this is actually used relatively frequently now in the meta, so this is kind of seen an interesting price increase. Next is going to be Nether Soul Dragon. So this is pretty much just because of Zombie World and Zombie Horde engines are using this with crazy and Super Poly. This is an amazing Super Poly target. This and Starving Fusion Venom is I'll safe to say one of the highest sought after targets for Super Poly in this format, in my personal opinion, at least that I'm aware of. And this premium gold secret rare, it actually looks like total garbage in this. So this actually looks very nice. There's actually some premium gold secrets, the gold secrets, that actually look very, very good. This artwork, this photo really just does not do justice. It makes it look like total garbage, but up close and in person, it looks very, very nice. We're going to go ahead and look at Near Mint lightly played first editions exclusively. Starting market price is going to be a little bit of phantom under 10 bones a piece for first edition lightly played, and it's going to move into that 10 plus market price for the Near Mints. There is a first stack of 28 here, but that goes all the way up to almost 12 bones, roughly around 11 for Near Mint first edition from Card Rush. Ideal print, obviously, only other version is the all-time most dreaded rarity of all time, which is ultra rare from a Battles of Legends, which is very, very, it's even worse because Battles of Legend ultra rares just come out very cheaply looking made and just mass over manufactured and just really not very aesthetically pleasing at all, in my personal opinion. An amazing card, relatively cool artwork, cool name and all that, but these are also equally going for roughly around 8 bones a piece, pretty much all across the board. We're going to switch over to stacks. So if you have multiples of these, if you sought after this set very highly and you got a lot of them, I mean, you got 8 bones a pop for these, so this would definitely be a significant push off. Pretty good amounts on the market. Well, actually only one page on the market. There's a fat stack of 33 here for about 10 bones. So another alternative choice for you guys. Next is going to be Galaxy Soldier. So I don't really know if Cyber Dragon Infinity or Cyber Dragon and players in general, or maybe Galaxy / Cyber Dragons, or just pure Galaxy decks, because I know there was some new support that came out with one of the I think it was a duelist set, Legendary Duelist or something like that. This has always been pretty good money, the Prismatic Secret Rares, so this was like one of the first actual side sets to actually print Prismatic Secret Rares back in the day. Here in the TCG, we only exclusively got Prismatic Secrets from like old school, like Generation 1 era, like video game promos, which was really, really cool. This was a very unique set that I did that it kind of mass produced Prismatic Secrets, and this was well before, obviously, the 2020 and 2019 and the 2020 tins. So the 2019 tins, I believe, were the first ones. The Gold Sarko tins, I think. I can't remember. The 2019 tins were the first ones to actually reintroduce the mass production of Prismatic Secret Rares, which was really, really cool for the game state here in the TCG. But if we're looking at the ultra rare reprints here, Battles of Legends, Light's Revenge, and Dual Power, these are going for like 15 plus a piece. So ideally, I suppose, I don't really remember which one came out first. I think Battles of Legends, Light's Revenge came out. This was a transition set, great history merit on this. They updated the hollow foiling for the attribute star and the level stars here, so really great history merit on this card. And 16 bones, I mean, pretty much all across the board. We're even going to switch over to stacks, and it's pretty much going to give us the same thing, about 17 bones for the stacks, and then it just trickles up 20. So just insane value in this card. It's a really good card, a major combo piece builder for these decks. And really quickly, it's pretty much going to be the same thing too for the Dual Power reprint. So ideally, if you guys have these laying around, I mean, they weren't too hard to dig out. Personally, I don't know what's going on. The TCG player is being ridiculous. Anyway, Galaxy Soldier, sell it. It's worth a lot of money. If you guys have either variants, I would keep the Prismatic Secret Rare as at least a playset if you guys are into that playstyle. But definitely sell the Ultras because it's like an all-time high. I've never seen those this high before. Cyber Emergency is going to be next. The Secret Rares, something that's interesting about this is the Genesis Impact Super Rare reprint and the Dual Overlord Ultras are like dirt garbage. They're like 1 bone a piece. Very, very affordable. Something about the highest rarity of Secret Rare from Battles of Legends, Relentless Revenge. I mean, you're really going to dig in deep for that Secret Rare upgrade. This is significantly more valuable than the other variants, and we understand, you know, it's high rarity Secret Rare, but this is just like ridiculous how the gap between the Super, Ultra, and the Secret is between the Secret and the Super and the Ultra is just insane. I mean, starting market price we're going to see here for Near Mint First Edition is going to be 21 bones after you factor in shipping, then quickly trickles up to 23, 25 plus, and there's only 2 pages of variants to availability here, and there's only a single page of stacks. The first stack is going to start at 24 bones for Lightly Played and 28 bones for Near Mint First Edition, and those are for Italians. So insane price point. So personally, I would sell these. I would sell these, and I would run the 2 bone Super Firsts reprints, and I would cop the cash for the Secret variants. Alright, next is going to be Invocation. This card, I mean, I feel like for like over a year now, this card has just been at some insane exponential value points here. And of course, obviously we have the OTS Tournament Pack 6 Ultimate Rares, you know, looking very, very aesthetically pleasing, highest rarity, great card, going for 100 plus. I want to say these were the original Secrets, Fusion Force or Secrets. I'm pretty sure this is the first variant ever printed, going anywhere between 40 to almost 50 bones. We have the Secret Mirror version here, which is roughly going for the same price again, between 40 41 bones for the Battles of Legends Secret. And even for the Shadows of Hall Super Rares, this is insane. This is the lowest rarity is a Super Rare. No discredit to this. This still looks very, very good. I mean, obviously, it's going to have a hard competition against the Ultimates and the Secrets, but still very much holofoil. Still can get it in first edition print. And starting market price of this still is going to be almost, you know, 35, and then trickles up quickly to almost 40 bones a piece. An amazing card, obviously an amazing engine, most popularly mixed and blended in with Shaddolls. I think there's definitely a couple other variants. Shaddolls aren't the only variant that bleeds through with this engine, but it's a great engine, and they're really cool monsters, and it's a really fun deck to play, so very understandable. Definitely need another reprint. It'd be really interesting to see what Konami decides. Maybe a common. I think that, you know, it would kind of be tragic because the card is so powerful and it is so expensive. It definitely, I mean, it's safe to assume everyone wants a reprint at this point just because these numbers are insane. I think another super rare variant would be really, really sought after, and it would really cut the prices down a lot, like maybe a subset, produce another mirrored super rare first edition print, and that would also make it a lot more. It would sell a new set. It would definitely give a turning point to selling a new set for popularity, for sales, and that would also give players a more affordable alternative to play still a holofoil variant of Invocation, which is such a sought after card right now. Next is going to be Numeron Network. So this is a really cheesy combo. I really hate this. Like, there's three things that I really still just completely, like, utterly disgust me in this format. And it's this whole cheesy Numeron Network, like, special summon, swarm your XYZs and do all this. Just like, I don't know. It's just really lame and cheesy, and it's just like a cheap play. And I mean, I don't want to spit hate, I don't want to sound like I'm on like a podium post here or anything like this, but this and like obviously like Mystic Mine and Dragoon, like Turbo Dragoon, is just so, like, it's so cheesy and lame. Like, it's just not, like, no one wants to play against this stuff. I think this is really just trashy plays, some of the most trashiest plays here in the meta. I mean, there's always those kind of like just, I don't know, those plays that no one really likes, or they're not really popular. But anyway, trying to stay neutral as possible here. This is a public YouTube video channel anyway here. But anyway, this is going for good money though. So if you have it, personally, I would sell it. Starting market price is going to be around 6+ bones, and there's plenty of availability in the market. But I mean, I would personally just push it off. So yeah, completely up to you guys on that. Next is going to be Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. This is the highest rarity, technically the highest rarity. I think there's a couple Duelist League variants, but this is the Dual Terminal 7. Dual Terminal is really aesthetically pleasing, really great. This is finally seeing some pretty good price increase. For the longest time, it was like a bone, 2 bones, 3 bones, very affordable. Crazy stacks here. Starting market price here for a 3-stack, even lightly played, is going to be about 6 bones. And I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to the stacks to just to verify, and it quickly dwindles. I mean, it goes like for 3 bones and quickly jumps up to 20 and then 25 bones plus for the stacks. So there just really isn't a lot of variance. People finally notice, like, oh my goodness, this is an amazing Floodgate card. It's an amazing rarity. Dark decks and light decks are some of the most supported and compacted decks and splashable decks and combo decks in the whole entire game, and like every platform and every format. It's just very insane, and this is finally seeing some great value. This is a huge, probably one of the biggest DT. I'm a huge advocate for investing in DT stuff, and this is something I've been trying for years, and I've stocked up very heavily both on this and light imprisoning, and this is going places. So if you guys have this, I would definitely keep 3 to 6 to 9 a piece personally, just to have, just because it's an amazingly ridiculous side card. And again, DT is just discontinued and amazing. But if you have extras, it's definitely getting towards a pretty good, relatively good selling point. Light Imprisoning Mirror is going to be next. Mirrored version, Dual Terminal 7 commons. And this isn't quite going quite as high as Shadow Imprisoning. It's roughly around 4 bones a piece. Well, I guess technically it's a little bit more starting market price. We're going to switch over to stacks, and it looks like 6 bones is going to be the first stack, and that's going to go all up to 9 bones for an 11 stack, and that's going to bottom out at pretty much around 10 bones plus after you factor in these fat shipping charges here. So completely up to you guys. Again, just an amazing card. Again, light and dark decks are always going to be around. They always have some of the most powerhouse cards. So those are something to keep an eye on. Gearspring Spirit is going to be next. Again, Dual Terminal 7 common. This is mostly used with gimmicks. Gimmick puppet. Can't speak today. No English. Gimmick puppets. You can see all this gimmick stuff here. Really good card. I mean, you can just reduce 1 to 0, and then it's a level 8, which is great because that's, trade in advanced draw, a whole bunch of crazy drawing shenanigans, and you can also go into some of the most amazing rank 8s. Rank 8 is my favorite XYZ plays, so really great stuff. Of course, it is a dark 2, so it could be an alert darkness target, or like Dark Arm Dragon, or just, again, dark attribute decks are just so in abundance, and there's so many different options for dark and light decks. So completely up to you guys. I mean, it can be Chaos Fodder in the Grave. There's so many options, and this is starting market price is about 5 bones, a little bit phantom under 5 bones before you factor in shipping. And we're gonna go ahead and just make sure we can verify the stack market price. It looks like there's only 2 stack variants. Starting market price is going to be 5 bones for this, 7, and then 4 for 6. So really not a lot of ability. This card was insanely dumb affordable. I remember picking this up in bulk for like a quarter, like half a bone. Very affordable, and it's really nice to see some good exponential growth in this, and definitely good sell target. depending on how many you have. Next is going to be a little bit more of a collector's card. So obviously no one's really running around playing vanilla Black Luster Soldier. I know Black Luster Soldier has had a variant of different supports throughout the ages, and some hardcore players try to keep on making it good and making it a meta, and they'll probably pop off a win here and there, take some decks by surprise. But this is more so, again, just because of like the anime and because it's the original artwork and it is DT, and DT is discontinued, and this is collectors. This is all collectors value. This is why this is happening, and there's just not too many on the market here. We can see there's a single page of availability here on this platform. If we switch over to stacks, there's going to be only 2 listings of stacks and the starting market price. Both of them near mint is going to be 18, and that's going to switch to 19 bones. So again, this was one of those cards that was like a bone, a half bone, barely like 2 bones a piece, and now it's seeing some exponential growth because it's a collector fanboy anime card. It's DT, and it's just not very high in abundance on the market. Next is going to be, I'm going to kind of switch gears here and review very briefly some cards that I think are at some really great price points to pick up. So these are very affordable cards that I think have a lot of future potential, and I think are either have great future potential or are highly underrated or undervalued right now, and there should definitely be some great pickups. The first is going to be something that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of Maximum Gold. I really just don't think it looks good for the Maximum Gold. What is this rare even called again? Premium Gold Rare. They came out like too thick, too glossy, and just like overwhelming, and just I really don't like these. But Infernity Mirage, this is a very, very infamous set, very old or deck, a very infamous deck, very old, great player base and history merit behind it. Just an infamous format behind this, where this whole deck was just really annihilating everything, and it could come back. Who knows? I know it's gotten like a couple commons here or there, a couple cards. I think it got like a new Synchro Monster, which is kind of trashy. I don't know, but it's never too late for these really core decks to come back into the game with new support, and this is the only other variant that we have besides the original. I think it was like Shining Darkness, I think it was. Yeah, the Shining Darkness super rares, and these are like even still relatively expensive. I mean, they were even more expensive before this reprint came out, but I mean, if you're going to go this, you're going to want to go first editions, and even for the original first editions, being that these are so old and relatively hard to get, starting market prices is going to be almost 10 bones. It's probably going to be 10 bones for a single stack for lightly played first edition. So relatively competitive to get. Alternatively, this, even though it looks pretty trashy, I'm not going to lie, but it is still very much a somewhat hollow foil, you can say. I'm not even going to give it the justification of hollow foil. I mean, but I don't want to spit too much hate, but I'm not a big fan of this rarity. But you just, the numbers don't lie. This is insanely affordable, and given the fact that the super rare is relatively expensive and relatively competitive to get, seeing how old it is right now. Here's a fat stack of 27 from Core TCG, near mint first edition for a quarter bone a piece. So the numbers don't lie. You can't beat those numbers. It's insanely cheap. Insanely affordable. I highly recommend you guys pick this up in bulk, because when this deck comes back, I really think it's going to come back eventually. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. I don't even know, and that sounds kind of exaggerated, but this is a really fun deck, and there's great history behind this, and Konami's always kind of that potential to really bank off profit of making this a meta deck with some new support eventually down the line. And this is really going to be the only other print that we have available, and unless it gets reprinted again, but it took forever to get reprinted, and it just got reprinted, so I highly doubt that it's going to get reprinted anytime soon. Next is going to be pre-preparation of rights. This is the original Shining Darkness super rares. This is probably, out of everything I'm talking about today, this has got to be one of the most MVP, undervalued, amazing cards. You dig out 2 cards. This is a 2 double card searcher. Really great artwork. Again, I mean, White Mexican, me just being a crazy old fool. I love super rares. Shining Victories was a really cool set. That was like a major Blue Eyes set, and we got Crystal Synchro Dragon, Synchro Crystal Dragon, whatever it's called, which is a really infamous Synchro card even back in the day. And these are just insanely affordable. We're going to be looking at first editions, of course, 3 stacks for bulk prices. And these are pretty much 2 bones all across the board. We'll see 3 stacks pretty much all across the board. And then when it hits to the 8 stacks, they go to about 3 bones, 2 pages of availability. This is just an insanely underrated card. I highly recommend you guys, like a mass production factory, pick up on this. There are other alternatives, like an ultra variant, but I really don't like that set, the subsets, the all ultra subsets of just like mass producing garbage of. It's just not really good. Actually, I was thinking of not Battles of Legends, but even though I don't like Battles of Legends ultra rares, there was the Megaton 2017 mirrored super rares as well back in the day when Megatons mirrored and matched rarity. But I obviously the original print is just as affordable, so you might as well go for OG print. So ideally, I really recommend this first edition exclusively is the only one you should go for. Next is going to be Castel, the Skyblaster Musketeer. This is the Dual Saga variant. Again, Dual Saga still to its own merit on today is the only set in the whole TCG that has produced this very exclusive rarity. It looks pretty good personally. I mean, it's not like the best rarity in the world, but it has a lot of amazing history merit that it is the only one that has this exclusive rarity. And this is just insanely affordable, and that's the biggest thing. Back in the day, this used to be a one-of on like every extra deck. Every extra deck used to run at least one variant of this, sometimes even more. Obviously, it's been watered down a lot. It's really not that big of a deal anymore, but it's always going to be that one-of card that can rip one off the board, and it can take care of a lot of troublesome cards. And this is just one of the greatest rarities that we have. I know we have an ultimate rare, which is going for exponentially more affordable, but again, that's not the point of this investment. The point of this investment is it's a very unique rarity. It's got a very generic effect, and it's pretty good history and merit behind it too, backing behind this card. And stacks start for for a half bone, for pretty much a 3-stack. The 9-stack goes to a bone. This is just an insanely affordable card. So I highly recommend you guys take a look at that. Next is going to be the very first original print of Necro Valley. Again, I don't want to talk over the tablet stone for Gravekeepers, but I'm just a huge fan of Gravekeepers, and I know a lot of people love Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers is a really old fanboy deck going all the way back to Generation 1 for Art Guardian Yu-Gi-Oh! And these are the original OG Magic stamped before they changed the card text and errated it and changed it and all that stuff. It actually made it better, in my personal opinion. But these are collector's cards. Not only are they amazing playability cards, they got the old Magic stamp, and this is just a great rarity. And just looking at these cards just brings me back to my childhood, like going way back into the early 2000s of Yu-Gi-Oh! Opening up those yellow Pharaonic Guardian packs was so fun. And these are pretty much, they're under 10 bones. I think anything under 10 bones for lightly played near mint, especially near mint. Here's a near mint here for 10 bones. Is just a godsend. These cards, it's taken a while, and for the longest time, these were like 3, 4, 5 bones, and I copped them up like crazy. I have several prints of this first edition exclusively because this is a really powerful card. This card is just an amazing side card. It's kind of like, I don't know, it really messes up a lot of decks. I mean, I personally, I'm playing zombies right now, and this really jacks up my zombie horde engine a lot with the stopping, removing from, and this is just really good. This is really good, and this is quickly becoming a very sought after Generation 1 card. So I highly recommend that you guys pick these up while they're still under this 10 bone market price. Let's go ahead and look at stacks really quick, just out of curiosity, and rightfully so. Out of 105 listings, there is not a single stack of 3-ofs for those conditioning and addition there. So check that out. Imperial Iron Wall is going to be next. This is another card that this is kind of like a secret side card that no one's really looking at, that really jacks people up. Removing from play is just a huge factor in an engine and a combo starter in so many decks, and has been for several years now. And I just think this is a really underrated floodgate that not a lot of people are looking at, and I'm not really sure why. This is personally my favorite variant because it's OTS Tournament Pack, and it's OTS Tournament Pack 1, which is obviously very old. And the other variants, of course, is an ultra rare, which is not too bad because it is specifically from a Legendary Collection set. Again, I'm a huge advocate for Legendary Collection 3, 4, and Kaiba. And that's roughly going for the same price. It's about 3, 4 bones. Then you got these 2 structured commons, which, if you need them, you need them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this card hits the market and people start realizing what a devastating side card this is. these potential first edition commons could potentially go up to maybe 2-3 bones, but really not much of that. But ideally, it's really this super rare that I would really focus on. It's very, very old, and it is an OTS pack, and that's a lot less produced than even Legendary Collections, if I'm so bold to say. So we're gonna go ahead and look at some prices for this. I want to see some without stacks. Starting market price is around 3-ish, 4 bones after you factor in shipping. If we switch to stacks, it goes all up to about 5 bones plus for lightly played. And there is a fat stack of 113 here for 6 bones from Phantasm Gaming. So plenty of relatively availability. I mean, they're 214 stack here, but I mean, these are relatively well, they're kind of market price. They're roughly around 5 bones. So this one has that crap $4 shipping though. So be aware of that. So this is just something that I would look out for. A really cool artwork too. Last card I have for you guys tonight is going to be Ancient Sacred Wyvern. There is an Ultra Rare variant and a Legendary Collection 5D Secret Rare variant. Wouldn't really pay much attention to this Ultra Rare because it's Ultra Rare. And let's go ahead and look at the Secret Rares. This isn't like a ridiculously good card, but this card just has amazing artwork. Like, I love the artwork on this, and it is a relatively old card. Back in the day, it used to be a relatively popular card to play. I just love the Secret variant and the Ultimate variant specifically for this. And it's not too terribly expensive. I mean, it's kind of at a somewhat undesirable price point. I mean, if you guys don't really much care for this, I mean, you can pop it off if you have several prints for 7 bones. I mean, you can quickly add up if you have several copies, and you can actually, sell them. But for collectability purposes, the Ultimate Rare is really what takes the cake. This set here was a really interesting time in Yu-Gi-Oh! I was actually not playing during Ancient Prophecy. This was actually when I was not in the game. Stopped playing the game. I think it was like around Soul of the Duelist or something was the last set that came out before I came back in 2011. But there's just something about it. This picture really doesn't. Again, it's kind of hard. These pictures aren't really good, and it makes it really too dark looking. But I think this card is really cool. Again, its effect is kind of really not too anything impressive, but it was a really fun time in Yu-Gi-Oh! A really interesting time. Again, I wasn't around, but the era of sets of cards and decks that, from the research I've done and from talking from players that played in this time, is a really, really fun time in Yu-Gi-Oh! So starting market price here is going to be for first editions, lightly played is 65, and then first editions go to 85, and then there's only one, and then it goes all up to a whopping 350. So this definitely has value. It's definitely going places, and it's mostly just because there's just really not availability on the market. So if you guys have a near mint first edition or even a lightly played first edition, this is going for some pretty insane money. So this is probably more so of a card that you would either want to sell or even hold on for the long term, because obviously it's going places pretty quickly, and actually I'd probably say you probably want to hold on to this card in a couple years. It's probably going to be a standard market price of this 350. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. Any of you guys can add me, message me. I would love to talk to you guys about anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. I feel extremely compassionate about this game. I love the deck building, the creativity, the brotherhood, the investments. There's so many amazing things that this hobby brings to the table. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.